нафиг! Реактор горит! Повторяю, реактор горит!
Get the water on that section now!
What is the cost of lies? It's not that we mistake them for the truth. It's that if we hear enough of them, we no longer recognize truth at all. On April 27, 1988, Valery Legasov, a scientist, finished recording his final tape. He hid the tapes and then hanged himself in his hall. Before that night, before the lies and the fire, there was only pride. In the 1970s, the Soviet Union was building a new kind of power, a dream to control the atom, not for war, but for progress. They called it Chernobyl, the heart of the Soviet nuclear future. This is the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the pride of the Soviet Union. It had 4 reactors, the newest reactor number 4 was the most powerful of all. But power always comes with pride, and pride has its price. Behind every switch and every circuit, there were men who believed they could control the atom itself. One of them was Anatoly Dyatlov.
Before the accident, before April 26, 1986, can you tell us how it all began?
We were proud. We were building the future. Chernobyl was our dream. The people believed in us. Every brick, every beam, it meant something. But dreams can become heavy. What we built with pride was starting to fall under its own weight. No one knew it then, but in a few hours, everything would change. April 25th, 1986. Inside reactor number 4, a small safety test was about to begin. The test was simple, to check if the reactor could keep running after a power loss. But this test would change the world forever.
Sir, the power is unstable. If it goes out, it will be very dangerous.
Push it back up. Finish the test. No delay. I said, keep going. Finish the test.
The reactor was gone. The nightmare had begun. Fire at Chernobyl. All units respond immediately. I repeat, a fire at Chernobyl. All units respond immediately.
What's happening?
Nothing serious, just a small fire. Don't worry, I'll be right back.
For her, it was only light in the sky. For him, it was the beginning of the end. Behind closed doors, the truth was buried. Reports called it a small fire, nothing more. The word explosion was forbidden. The reading showed 3.6. They said it was safe, but the truth was far beyond numbers. The officials left. Their footsteps faded into silence. Then, the door burst open. An assistant engineer rushed in, carrying the truth no one wanted to hear. He checked with military dosimeter, but it showed 1,000 and also the highest level that machine, but still don't know the exact level. Outside, life went on. No one knew that death had already begun to fall far away from the Chernobyl power plant. A smart lady named Ulana Komyuk, a scientist, sat in her quiet lab. Suddenly, her machine started to ring loudly. It showed something terrible. Poison air was spreading across the land. But no one near Chernobyl knew it yet. The danger was already in their breath and in their blood. In the hospital near the plant, people were getting very sick. Their skin burned, their eyes hurt, and nurses had to take their clothes and bury them underground. They were full of poison dust. The government sent Legasov and a powerful man named Boris Sherbina to see the plant themselves. When they landed near the plant, their machine made a terrifying sound. The number on the screen was thousands of times higher than what Moscow had told them. The air itself was killing. Legasov said, "We must move the people of Pripyat." Boris whispered, "We must save them." The fire was gone, but fear still filled the air. In Moscow, great men gathered in a dark room. Legasov, Sherbina, and the generals. They were not planning victory. They were planning how to stop the end of the world. 3 deadly problems stood before them. The roof of Reactor 4 was still burning, covered with black, shining stones called graphite. Each piece was full of deadly radiation. No human could even stand there for 60 seconds. Beneath the reactor, molten fuel was melting through the floor. If it touched the underground water, it would poison 50 million people. And the air was already turning to poison. They had to evacuate everyone. Burn the trees and kill every living creature left behind. The general asked, "What do you need?" And Legasov said quietly, 1,000 men. While men fought the fire outside, one woman began fighting lies inside. Her name was Ulana Komyuk, a scientist who wanted the truth. In a hospital full of pain, she found a young engineer from Reactor 4, his skin gray, his breath slow. She asked what went wrong. He whispered one word, AZ-5. The safety button meant to stop the reactor, but after pressing it, everything exploded. When Ulana opened her report, she saw something missing. The pages about AZ-5 were gone. Someone had torn them out. She went to find the man who was in charge that night, Anatoly Dyatlov. He sat behind his desk, silent and cold. He didn't speak. She filled her walls with clues, drew the reactor by hand, and searched for every secret the government had buried. Days turned into weeks. No one wanted to talk. Phones went dead. But she never stopped, because she knew this wasn't an accident. It was a lie that killed thousands. Her search led her to one final name, Valery Legasov, the man who faced the reactor itself, the man who carried the truth she was dying to find. And together they would face the secret that shook the world. Because Chernobyl's greatest danger was never the radiation. It was the lie that still glows in the dark. They gave him medals for silence and buried the truth under paper and pride. One year later, the trial began. Dyatlov, Fomin, and Bryukhanov blamed for the world's worst disaster. Boris stood for the heroes. Ulana, the scientist, searched for answers. And Valery Legasov, the man who carried the truth, was ready to speak. To run the safety test, the power had to stay low, 700 megawatts. But the reactor dropped too far, poisoned by gas called xenon. Dyatlov refused to wait. He ordered the team to pull out almost every safety rod, 205 out of 211. When steam replaced water, power rose like lightning, from 3 billion watts to 33 billion. Then, they pressed the AZ5 button. Everyone believed AZ5 was safe, a button to stop disaster, but it was built with a terrible secret. The rods were made with graphite, a cheap metal that made the reaction faster, not slower. When the button was pressed, graphite entered first and turned the reactor into a bomb. The men who pressed AZ5 were not wrong. They were betrayed by Soviet government. Legasov revealed the horror. 16 reactors like Chernobyl existed across the country. 3 were still running, each one built with the same deadly flaw. If even one more exploded, the world itself could burn. For telling the truth, they took everything from him. His job, his honor, his name. But his words survived. Today, Chernobyl stands silent, a ghost city where time has stopped. Rusting cars, empty homes. Nature has taken back the land. Dedicated to every life lost in Chernobyl, and to every truth the world must never forget.